Well, I'd like to take a moment as any of you get together for the reunions this summer uh, and go over my Department of Defense career that when I graduated from college, Southern Connecticut State University back in 1958. I was a local Connecticut boy and got a job at Fairfield, Connecticut, teaching seventh grade science. So from 1958 to 1961, had that position. Also worked as a museum director for 2 years, I believe. Wonder Workshop Junior Museum on weekends. And then saw an article in the local newspaper saying, would you like to teach in England or Spain, France, Germany? And I said, gee, here I am 3 years. I liked what I was doing. But then I thought, I'm kind of getting in a rut here. They say being in the groove is like being in the grave, just not so deep. Anyway, so I says, well, I'll try. I sent a letter off application, was asked to interview in Boston, went up there for a day, and they said, we'll let you know. So one day in April, my mother calls me on the phone, never calls me at school, and said, oh, they called you from Boston and they said you had 24 hours to let them know whether you would accept a teaching position in England. And I said, I'm thinking about it. So anyway, I accepted. I was hoping to have a leave of absence at my local school because I really liked it there. It was a beautiful assignment. But they said, no, you had to resign. And I said, well, okay, I'll do it for a year. Arrived at Mildenhall in late August, was assigned to Lakenheath High School in England, lived in Newmarket, and while there, met a very nice Spanish girl that is now Mrs. Paulin, of course, and it's over 53 years ago or so. Anyway, thought we might like to go to Spain, so got transferred after 2 years at Lakenheath to Seville, Spain, and was there from 1963 to 1965. Of course, experienced all that life of Seville. It was like being on vacation. The Feria, the Semana Santa. Then we were assigned and very excited about going on to teach in Madrid, which was my wife's hometown. So was there from 1965 until the base closed in 1992. And of course, our children were born there. And I really liked that assignment too. That was very nice. While there, of course, I was the AVA coordinator at the high school, had our clubs, and many of you learned how to do 16 millimeter projectors and slide projectors, and along with that, they needed someone to be the administrator of the wrestling team. So without knowing much about wrestling, but had a very good number of GIs that would help, and of course, some of the boys, the high school boys, knew how to wrestle already. I sponsored the team and later became a little bit of a coach. And then Norm Robinson, of course, took over, and Gary Flannery and that whole crowd. And I took a photography course while I was there, and that led me to take up photography as a kind of part-time thing. And of course, in my later years, many of you knew I took the school pictures and did sports teams and events at the clubs, and yeah, I kind of like that. The thing about photography was you get to see the results right away. Did you take a good picture? And I thought that was very rewarding. And I really liked, of course, teaching the biology and then ecology, and went to a number of summer programs sponsored by the National Science Foundation back in the States, and sort of became an ecologist. I remember our summer programs that we had we called it summer field ecology, and went to Benidorm, went to up in the mountains and studied various things that related to it. Had a study area out by the golf course, you may recall. And then when the school closed, Ira Shire, our principal, suggested, why don't we go to, he was being assigned to Lodges, and I said, well, Lodges Field in the Azores, and we liked that assignment too, from 1992 until I retired in 2002. We really liked Lodges too. Very nice people there, and had a lot of good feelings. We liked the golf course, we liked the food, and the people particularly nice. Well, that was about the size of it, and of course I always liked playing the guitar a little bit, and working with the Scouts, of course. And in 1982 was awarded the Silver Beaver, which is the highest award they give to civilian volunteers. And still a little bit active, not as much as I used to be, of course, and support that great movement. Well, I think it's very nice to be able to keep in contact here on Facebook, and I see you folks are keeping the tradition alive of getting the reunions and meeting with your fellow students. Believe it or not, I do too. We still keep in touch with some of our 8th grade class of St. Stephen's and Bassick High School class of 54. So with that, we'll say good luck to all of us, and God bless us all.